Yo, what's up? We're now sitting at MC Hammer, and today I want to talk about something interesting I found out about 1,000 kilometer challenge, or maybe a completely new way of measuring EV range performance, or whatever you call it. Because you know, in the past I've been doing range tests, right? I've been doing some charging tests and then some 1,000 kilometer challenge. And actually, just a couple of videos ago, I showed you a way for me to drive MC Hammer. I did a full cycle. How was this again? I started with 65%, and then I drove until I was down to 10%, and then I charge it back to 65%, and that completes a full cycle. And then I tried to figure out a way to calculate 1,000 kilometer challenge, but it wasn't, I mean, it was a little bit hit and miss. Now though, I found a way to very accurately figure it out. And I think this method might be a way of benchmarking EVs in the future, maybe, because I think no one has ever thought about this before. Because we have VLTP, which is just a way of trying to measure range in a lab, and the EPA, right? And then NEDC was even worse. So that is okay. It's good for showing how much range a car has. For example, Zoe has pretty good range, and Leaf, but they don't charge very fast, especially Leaf, and also Leaf overheats. That's another aspect. And then you might have, let's say, an e-tron 50 that has pretty shitty range for its battery size, but it charges really fast. So, you know, a combination of range versus charging speed and maybe some other properties like cold gating or whatever, that is being covered in 1,000 kilometer challenge, a true benchmark, like a marathon benchmark. And it seems like it's gained so much popularity that many people use it as a benchmark. And I see also on my video insight that lots of people watch them. So that is great. But sometimes, you know, it was just for fun. I wanted to try to figure out how all this stuff works. So, you know, the flaw I had with the previous one was that it didn't simulate a 1,000 kilometer challenge. Actually, it didn't simulate a real world case, because that's basically what most of my tests are. They are a simulation of a real world case. Just like the banana boxes, kind of, or the range test. And the 90 kilometers per hour test is to simulate a mixed driving of city and when you go on, you know, slower stretches. And then the 120 kilometers per hour is to simulate more motorway drive. And it seems to be relevant for many people. That's why I kept doing them. And many people might not understand what's the point of it. Why are you driving 90 kilometers per hour in the 110 zone? That's the way that's the best way to do it, so it makes it consistent, so that I don't get traffic stuck in front of me. That's, in the old days, I drove some dirt roads or whatever, some B roads, and I figured out that it takes too long, it's not consistent, and it's harder to compare them between cars. But okay, anyway, so I want to show you the whole idea now. Let me show you this one. I hid some stuff in the table, and I show you the Tesla Model S Raven. I managed to get a 9 hours and 50 minutes. This is the actual trip I did this summer. Yeah, well, late summer. And then I also try to calculate stuff here. So let me explain what all this stuff is. I just copy this one. Yes, I don't have to copy. I can actually use a cell reference, but for now I just copy it. This is the range. So if you see 473, if you go to the range here, and you have to search for Raven, was it this one? That's Model S. Oh no, that is Model S, right? Okay, let me search for it then. Oh shit, man, what did I do now? Shit, how I'm a bit clumsy here. Okay. No, I forgot this is a different language. Yeah, okay. Let me see, long range Raven. You see, it's a little bit unstructured, this video, sorry for that. I could make a very strict and serious video, like X-Plane G3 video, no, but okay. here. No, was it this one? Yeah, here. So 473, that's the number. That's the range when you're going 120 kilometers per hour. All right. So then I input it here. And then what is the next number here? Okay, sorry for all these. This is 120. I just made it short. This is charged to. How many percent do I want to charge to? For the most optimal charging speed, what you can do is, I watch this one. This is the one you want to see, and then we look at how fast we are charging, right? And then at one point you want to unplug. What about, let's say, if we charge to 60%? There, 60%. Then we have to look at how long does it take. Okay, let's round it up to 24 minutes. So what you can do then is, I just want to copy this one. Just going to show you how I do it. A kind of primitive way of doing this, but just to give you an idea. Okay, so we can say 60% here. Well, maybe I should sort like this. Okay, 60%. And how long did it take again? 24 minutes. Okay, 24 minutes. And then the next one. Okay, let's try to charge at 65%. Also, 65% takes 26.75. Okay, 65% takes 26.75. We have to use fraction here. Actually, yeah. Okay, I'll come back to that. All right, let me explain about all this. And this one, yeah, this one is the time in minutes it needs to charge. These are just the 3 inputs I need, and then the rest is just calculated automatically. I moved this one a little bit, but let's look at this first one. Okay, what is this? This is the range multiplied by 0.09, and what it means is that we always start 1,000 kilometers with 100%, and we can assume that many people who start the trip, they start with 100% and then they arrive with 10%. So this is the 90% range. All right, and then the next one here is I don't remember all this. I have to explain also what this is. It is the what? Oh yeah. Okay, how long does it take to drive that distance? And so how long does it take to drive 425? So first I try 120 kilometers per hour, but I realized that actually I'm never ever able to average 120 kilometers per hour. So that's why I realized that 115 kilometers per hour is usually what I average, including passing through Oslo or Gothenburg or whatever. And that's the actual average speed. And you see it takes 3.7, we use fraction here, hours. And then this one here is then the remaining distance after you have driven the initial 425 kilometers. You know, then you have to do those cycles that I measured in the previous video. So if you don't understand or you don't follow me all this, you have to watch the previous video. And then this one is then the range for the cycle to whatever you want to go to. In this case, 60% or 65 or 70%. And you see that when you charge to 60% and you want to then discharge it to 10%, you can drive 236 kilometers or whatever you have here. And then this one is driving time, yeah. So then again, same there. How long does it take to drive that distance? Again, in hours with fractions, decimal fractions, not, yeah. And then this one is then total cycle time. So how long does it take to do that cycle? Again, that's what we are now simulating it, but that's what I did in the previous video by actually driving it. So this is time, and then we calculate the average speed. Okay, I want to just see all this stuff. You can of course calculate it the other way. There's several ways to roam, remember? But this one is then calculating average time. Yeah. Average time for each cycle. Sorry, not average speed for each cycle, depending on these parameters. And then the last one here is remaining time. What was that again? I'm going to see here. So we take the average speed. Yeah. So you take the remaining there, and then divide it by average speed. So to summarize, the initial 400 kilometers before you have to charge the first time will take almost 4 hours, and then you have to drive for another 6 hours something before you hit the 999. And then this one is in fractions, so the 9 hours and something. And then I thought it was supposed to just multiply it by, no, divide it by 24, and then you in Excel, and then you can format it as time, and it didn't work. So then I had to do some kind of weird ass ninja calculation there to show it. But at least it works. I don't know why it didn't work, but whatever. So again, there are several roads to Rome, all right? But anyway, so you see here that actually I just realized that at first I input 70 as so it actually pays off to charge to 60 or 65%. It's slightly faster than charging to 70%. But all right, anyway, so let me undo here a little bit because I did some weird shit. There. Now we unhide the rest. So it's not too confusing for you guys. So what I managed to calculate here is 9 hours and 45. It's 9:49. And the actual run was 9:50. That was really spot on. But I forgot to mention something. This one. The total time here, I also counted in 3 minutes of overhead time. Yeah, just so, because that overhead time is just, you have to maybe exit and plug it in or whatever. So it means that if you only charge to 30%, then the overhead will be more significant. So it's actually very realistic the way I tune all my stuff here. And this is, remember that the 1,000 kilometer challenge is made to simulate a typical driving scenario. Like if I would drive from Oslo to Copenhagen, this is usually what I can expect. And this is what you guys can also expect if you drive from, let's say, from Paris to Hilton. I mean, from Paris to Hamburg, maybe you might get a little bit of stau. You might get a little. You cannot always cruise at 200 kilometers per hour because of speed limits and traffic. So actually, this one I nailed it almost spot on. But then it turns out once I input the other values here, for example, Model X has shorter range. You can see it here. You see shorter range. I also charge to 70%. Maybe actually it would be faster if I charge to 65%, but close enough. And you see that for the Model X, I estimate, this calculation estimates 10 hours and 9 minutes, and it's 10:20. Yeah. So, and then for e-tron, it's almost spot on again. And why was the Raven hair slower when I did it? Well, remember, this was before they boosted up everything. And also when I did the input here, it was based on the latest G pack, which charged faster than before. Actually this Raven, this exact Raven here that belongs to that guy, the red Model X Raven, he has, since then he received some updates, and his car is charging faster. Because I remember during that 1,000 kilometer challenge, I did it almost like as a comparison to the e-tron, and I pointed out that the Raven was pretty impressive in range-wise, but the charging speed dropped like a rock. And it's not dropping like a rock anymore. It has a more flat curve. So that means that if we try to do it today, it would beat e-tron. And if we keep going down here, what about the ID3? Again, input these numbers. Remember, these numbers are from my range test, just so you guys still follow me. I look here in my table, and I already done the work. I've done all the work, the important work, which is to do the range test, do the charging test, and then look at the charging curve. So let's go back here. So there I figured out it would take 10 hours and 50 minutes, and I did it in 10:45. This is almost unbelievable how spot on this is. What a discovery I did. Look here, Mercedes EQC, 11:02. You guys see that? Kona, according to my calculation, but this was summer consumption. And then the Kona here was run at in cold weather, and it also cold gated. So that's probably why the run was 11:30. So actually, if we say that for winter, something like this, suddenly you see it's very close to the real world again. And then next one, Polestar. Again, Polestar was kind of, yeah, I don't know why this one was like this. It was actually faster than the simulation. But here, you keep going here. e-tron, this one, why was this one, why was the simulation supposed to be faster? Well, it was wet almost all the way. So if you try to do something like this, no, the range was 220. Let's say, okay, because of the wet road, it's 190. Remember, the charging is still the same as before. Look now, almost matches it. Yeah, okay, close enough. What about here, Ioniq? Ioniq 1150, 1205. Well, why was the real world case slower? Well, remember, I had to drive a pretty long stretch between Løddeköping and Falkenberg or Varberg. I think it was Løddeköping, whatever. So I had to charge kind of slow and then take it easy. So the simulation here assumes that you have the best charging possibilities and you can always nail the charging stops, but that is not always the real world case. So that's also why the 1000 kilometer challenge still has some value, because it will reveal weakness like the Ioniq, because the Ioniq has a small battery. All right, next one. E208, 1155, 1230. Why was it slow? I'm not sure about that one, but you know, maybe because I didn't have perfect charging stops. I don't remember really. The i3 again, 12. Oh, I don't know what about the i3. i3 is supposed to be way faster, but there a few of those charging sessions I was not going. I rapid gated the i3 because I had the heater on. You guys know that one if you follow my channel. That's one of the reasons. And then maybe this was based on summer consumption. I think so. I estimated the summer consumption. So if we assume winter consumption, let's say 160, then suddenly we also get something close to 14 hours. You see. What about the Ioniq? Ioniq is supposed to be faster, but for the real run, why was the real run like this? Again, this was based on summer consumption, so if you assume winter consumption-ish, then it's getting pretty close. But then also the Ioniq also cold-gate a little bit. Zoe, again here, pretty close, but then why was it slower? Well, it was wet, you know. So if you try to input, let's say 180, then assume wet roads, then we also get something close there, yeah. Maybe 190. Yeah, you see, you can just, I'm not just tweaking this to match it, no. I'm actually basing it on a wet road might increase the consumption by 10%, and that means that it should be 190 something, right? Something like that. So I'm not just making up these numbers. What about the MG? Yeah, so we can just keep going here. I don't want to show you guys all of this, but I will show you that for Taycan, I did the estimation based on, again, the range, but done with skinny tires. And it actually pays off to charge to 70%, and it takes only 16 minutes to charge to 70%. Taycan would make it in 9.5 hours. It will beat Tesla by far. It's just insane how fast Taycan is. You see, we haven't even done the Taycan run, but I can already very accurately estimate Taycan run. And the other interesting part is that, but you're thinking, hey, but that was with the skinny tires. Okay, what if we use the fat tires? You know, then the consumption goes up. Let's say 380 kilometers range only. It still takes 9, you see, it still beats Model S. What about if we assume as much as 350 then? It's still damn fast. It's still faster than Model S. Why is it like that? Because the Taycan charges like a boss. You see, so even 300 kilometers, then it's still, you see, you can put the fattest tires on the Taycan and it still do it very fast. And then what about the MX-30? I haven't done it, I didn't bother doing it, but I estimate it's going to take 16 hours. Again, just input all these parameters. What about E-Up? E-Up here is, yeah, it's a rapid gates. What about the I-Pace? I haven't done I-Pace yet, but based on my calculations, I-Pace should do it in 11.5 hours. If you look up here, what do we have here? 11.5 hours. It is actually slower than EQC, and that makes sense because EQC has a flatter curve than the I-Pace. And also, yeah, has about the same range, but flatter curve, charges faster. So that's why. So it actually makes sense. So we could do I-Pace 1000 kilometer challenge and it will most likely be 11.5 hours. And another interesting thing is that if you notice that the Leaf, okay, no, the Leaf, Oh, the Leaf. I haven't done it here. Why did I think it disappeared? But let me just quickly find some numbers here. All right, let's see. I don't remember exactly which one I used, but this is Leaf charging at the 100 kilowatt. I mean, at the whatever, you know, 200 amp charging station at Dombås. I don't remember how many percent I chose to stop at. Maybe it was 70%. Yeah, it goes pretty fast. Okay, let's say it shouldn't matter too much, but let's say 65%. Okay, 65%. Takes 29.5 minutes. All right, 65%, 29.5. I'm going to show you something interesting here. Look for Leaf. Okay, it has this range where 254. What, is that the 120 range? Yeah, it is. So actually, if the Leaf had active cooling, it would do it in 1141, and it did it in 14 because it rapid gated. 1141. What cars do you have there? It beats e-tron even. It's up here with the Polestar and Kona. You see? The potential of making Leaf kick-ass is to put a fan in there. So yeah, I just gave you guys the numbers now. So this was interesting. I don't know if you guys like it or not. It was kind of nerdy and lots of numbers, but it was quite a discovery for me to see this. The answer's been there all this time. You guys probably never noticed it, that I did 120 kilometers per hour test, and I did those charging sessions. Lots of people watched my range test, but lots of people watched the 1,000 kilometer challenge, but you know, I didn't see the connection now, and you guys didn't see the connection. The answer was in the charging, those charging videos combined with the 120 test and the range test and the whatever. And then you can estimate it. And how useful is it to estimate this? Well, you know, most people, they probably don't want to drive 1,000 kilometers, but I have an idea here. You know, since I already set it up, we don't have to drive let me do something here. Okay, what about we don't drive 1,000 kilometers, we drive maybe 600 kilometers. That's, let's say 500 kilometers. 500 kilometers, that's more relevant, right? So all I have to do now, since I have all this set up, is here, this one. I have to just change it to 500, and then I have to copy this one and just paste it all the way down here, I guess. Something like this. And then suddenly you see that the 500 kilometer challenge, how long that takes for various cars. Why is the code? Oh, interesting. So why is suddenly Kona faster than EQC? Well, because Kona has more range than EQC. You see here? So that's why. So, wow. This means that I guess you guys want to see this data and you can play around with it. So this is actually, let me just undo here. Shit. Okay. I just don't want to mess around too much. I might have to refine it. But actually, I have. It wasn't. This is. I mean, I will still do 1,000 kilometer challenge because I enjoy it, and I think you guys also like it. And the 1,000 kilometer challenge has another aspect, which is randomness, and just naturally stuff will happen. That is part of the trip. But this because I have so many runs now with different cars with 1,000 kilometer challenge, we have seen now that my calculation method is really close to what you can actually achieve with 1,000 kilometer challenge. And then since we already now proven that this is good enough, then we can also tweak it, so we can, you know, you can just input the distance. I think I should change this spreadsheet to also have distance as input, and then you guys can compare then what is relevant for you. You don't care about 1,000 kilometers, you just care about 700 or 500 kilometers per day. How do you guys think? It's really, what a discovery. I find this way more useful than just the VLTP range, or when you read a car's spec, it says how much range you have, and then it says how many minutes it takes to charge to 80%, which doesn't make sense, because if you actually notice here in this section here, not many cars go to 80%. Most cars go to about 70% ish. Yeah, it depends. It depends. Some cars even go to 60%. So it's actually not relevant to go to 80% for most cases. And also the 80% charging time is also not very useful, because from what percentage is it? You know, there's no standard there. Some people supply 20 to 80%. Some people say 30 to 80% or 0 to 80%, which is also not relevant. You don't want to arrive with 0%. So I don't know what you guys think, but I think, you know, I'm not saying that my method is the best, but I think my method might be useful for many people, and maybe this could be a standard, a way of benchmarking EVs in the future. What do you think, huh? I think I'm gonna stop now because it's getting very long, this video. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Just give me some feedback on the video, okay? All right. So that's gonna be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.